get into it a little bit, huh? Let's get into it.
You've been working hard on this.
I have.
You've been working really hard.
I have. My adrenals, cortisol hormone has been
Tested.
increased.
Great.
But I have kept my testosterone up by hitting 2-a-day workouts during this period of time.
You do. He goes into his second shift of the day for research, so he's got to work out in between again.
You get a pump in, bro, before I hit that PowerPoint, that research.
Oh my gosh.
Sorry, no more bro voice.
No,
But
let's not do that.
There's 6 main types, and then I want to talk about the dietary approach to potentially fix this. And I'm not like a huge diet guy, but I want to introduce you to the age diet.
AGE.
The age diet.
Okay.
Could that be the
Are you
thing?
doing that today? Or
Yeah.
are you just teasing us
Yeah.
right now?
No, because this actually is directly related to the way that you have gone the route of eating, that I've advised you to go down the route of eating. I just had never understood or heard the actual breakdown of the age diet. And it's the way we've actually been eating. Now I can put the research behind it and make a nice little acronym for us to go off of.
Did you create the age diet, or have you?
I'm not going to claim the age diet,
Okay.
but I feel like I'm probably the first person to ever talk to you about it. So I will put my stamp of approval on it. How's that?
Deal.
Maybe we can just scoop it up and claim it. Who
Okay.
knows? I don't know how that stuff works.
The DLG AGE diet.
DLG AGE. Are you guys doing DLG AGE? Whole 30, no, do DLG AGE. But let's talk about the 6, right?
Okay.
And what they mean. So you're actually going to get a quiz. This is so cool. Day of. Not only did I go to the research, the guides, but I'm going to help you identify what is the primary one. There's a lot of spillover. Like, I know you're stressed and estrogen might be a problem. I know your androgens are down, your weight is up, and your thyroid might be messed up. Like, I know there's multiple, but it's going to pinpoint, like, this is the one that you have the most symptoms with. So if we can attack that one first, you're gonna feel a lot better faster.
And it will also affect the others typically, right?
Yes, so this will be the accelerator for you to start seeing relief quicker. Instead of when you go through this, you'd be like, oh my gosh, because there's so many conditions that I polled you guys, and you expanded it, by the way, on how many different areas that need to be touched on because you're suffering with different things. I don't want you to get lost in other people's symptoms, what you should start with. I want to help dial it in so that I'm going to start with this one. This is the most important piece. But I still think it's a good idea to learn about all of them because you never know. Like, maybe you got a family member down the road that ends up with a thymus issue. And you're like, oh, I know a guy that can help you with that.
I don't remember what he said besides AGE, but go watch his video.
Yeah. So there's men and women's, side of things. There's, estrogen deficiency doesn't exist over here, never lacking estrogen, right? Men, that's just not a thing, right? But women, you have all 6 of them. Men, you typically will have 4 of them because normally you're also not dealing with high androgens, right? Like too much testosterone. Like, I guess it's a thing if you are synthetically taking TRT, which we actually are going to talk about. That is a good idea. What are the side effects? You might choose to do that. I'm not judging you. I'm just saying, here's the side. And same thing, women. A lot of people ask me about hormone replacement therapy or bioidentical hormones. What's the truth on some of that? I'm just going to show you the research that I found. Okay. What are the potential risks? And then who should definitely not use those things? I'm going to lay that out for you. And then you can make your decision, right? Because I get, I'm not the one suffering with the hormone issue. And you might want to, look ripped. And you might want to, have that testosterone flowing in your brain. You might want to synthetically take something that levels out your hormones. I can't judge you for it. It's usually not the philosophy that we follow. And I think probably, by following us, you're along that path. So I'm going to show you the natural solutions that do have really solid research behind them. So 6, ready? Count them up, Nurse Livingood. Number 1, estrogen dominance. Way too much estrogen, maybe, or progesterone is too low. I really dug into this hard, and it's a phenomenon of a pseudo estrogen dominance. It's not that estrogen is sky high. That's how a lot of people understand it. It's that progesterone is too low. So the estrogen is dominant over the basement level
would make
progesterone.
A progesterone low then?
Oh, maybe you should just add some vitamin C in there. So estrogen dominant. On the flip side, estrogen deficiency then.
Is this 2?
Correct.
Okay.
In the middle is progesterone though. So
is that 3?
No, that's still 2 because progesterone is just secondary. So estrogen's the dominant one. And so I worked with, I don't know if you remember this. This is 10 years ago. We're at the clinic. I reached out to this hormone clinic And this is where we created the quiz. And I got that, I was able to download the things, and then we turned it into the actual quiz. And then this was dialed into like doctors that regularly study, and all they do is take care of hormones, right? Because I'm not a hormone doctor. I am a health doctor, and health involves hormones. And so that's why I'm talking about it. And you need to balance them. And so that's where we created this thing out of. And so this is where these 6 come from. So they didn't classify progesterone alone as, even though it is one of the 23 hormones, it's kind of in between, because it's your estrogen dominance or deficiency might be influenced by progesterone, right? So it's a thing that you actually can look at. Now, if estrogen is low, right? Your hot flashes, your night sweats, your incontinence, it's the menopause side of things. Now, when estrogen is too high, then you're going more like forgetfulness, or like really tearful, or like you really got the mood swings. So that's kind of we're going to find out what's going on between those two.
In your research, did you find that synthetic hormones in a younger woman's age affected either of these 2 categories as they age increased?
There is a direct correlation with increased breast cancer risks and some heart-related risks, especially the younger that you take synthetic, and even bioidentical. Bioidentical are along the right path as far as they are healthier, but you are still altering, and the long-term risk of that is put into question by the research I'll show you. And then there is a lengthy list of these conditions here really should not put any of those into the system. And there's androgens.
Okay, are we on
right?
3?
Yeah. Low or high, okay, so there's your 4. Low or high androgens.
Okay.
Low or high estrogen, basically. You with me?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what an androgen is? You remember? It's been a little bit.
Listen, I probably studied that for like maybe a half a semester, okay? In my cardiac ICU,
your most common is going to be
babies
testosterone.
didn't have these hormones.
Yeah. Your most common is going to be testosterone, or DHEA that helps to produce it, or vitamin D that helps produce it. And so androstenedione, that's a popular one in the sports world for PED use for athletes, okay? So we all need these. And women, a lot of you struggling with them being way too high. This is actually directly related to, so those are increased way too much, mostly driven by metabolic syndrome, mostly driven by toxicity of the liver and insulin dominance. How about that? That's a new term. Insulin dominance, way too much of it. And so this drives a lot of those PCOS symptoms, right? And so the libido is low here, okay, when the androgens are low. When it's high androgens,
Every
it's
woman just went, I have this one. Just starting there.
So the high androgens, this could be infertility issues because of the excess insulin dominance is what drives it. You can have skin problems, you can have hair problems. Obviously, weight gain is going to be a huge part of that. Cholesterol gets impacted, triglycerides get impacted, body hair gets impacted. And so this is a big one. Androgens are way too high. We're going to talk about how do we detox those down and what is the actual way of eating to do it. Now, when they're too low, and all the men are going to start elbowing the women, the libido is down, muscle mass but also goes down. And so that's huge for men, but it's big for women too. And so there's more of like that, the thighs, the arms, the belly fat, and everything softens a bit. And so this is a really big problem the older that we get, men or women. And then it comes with a lot of pain, a lot of achiness, also skin issues, digestive system gets impacted. So when those androgens are down. So we're gonna help you dial in on like, okay, well, which one am I? Because you can see you could get lost really quick. My job is to help make it simple, but also my tough job is I need to cover the masses, right? I have millions of you that follow me. It's a lot of different conditions. And so I can't help it.
One hormone fix all.
Everyone told me early on, like, doc, just specialize and specialize down. And I'm like, no, like my job is people. My job is doctor means teacher. I got to teach people about everything. So I've just continued to study everything. I wouldn't claim to be like the hormone expert, but I'm going to help you simplify this and make some really tangible action steps. So every one of these is going to have like, okay, here's my top 6 to 10 things that I would focus on to make the biggest impact on your highest priority hormone to see the fastest results.
That's what we love about you, Doc. You just keep it simple for us.
There's 2 others we will touch on. The other 2 main ones are adrenal dysfunction, which impacts so many other ones, right? And there could be a lot of you that ended up falling into that category because when your cortisol is overproducing, it's shutting down your estrogen, which is also impacting your thyroid. That could be the one. We got to get it under control. I'm trying not to turn this whole thing into a giant stress reduction workshop, though, because I've done a lot of that already. There's also, you start to look at parathyroid, which is like little glands within the gland. And then you go south a little bit and you go to the thymus, right? That's right down in here. That's huge for your immune system. I want to talk about thymus dysfunction. And so we're going to break down multiple of these levels that get really niched down a little bit, but videos I haven't really made before, because that might be the thing you're suffering with. And how do we get help with it? So that's the 6. That's the 6. Count. Right? So in case Barry is listening, it's like, all right, better sex, better biceps, right? And less boredom in your life. Okay.
Sign Barry up.
3 B's, Barry. You got it.
Up. See, everyone should be there, even Barry.
Sally, you're sexier, right? You're sassier, maybe less sassy, okay? And then you size up better. How did I do with that was off the top of my head. Did I do
the S's?
Yeah.
I don't know if size up maybe
size down. Okay. Slim down.
Okay, perfect. Nailed it.
Sensational looking.
Oh, got any more S's in there, Doc?
Sleep. Better sleep.
Okay.
So, but one of the key components of this, and then I thought you would like this because you do so much with cooking.
Can they see this thing?
No.
Oh, you're okay. Well, get ready. It's a nice little chart for you.
Can they see this? I love how you're always just like, you're like them always on this show.
What?
Like, huh? Tell me more. Can we back up a second here? I have another question.
Oh my goodness.
How about a whole section of, like, you did some of this stuff of, like, mamas, you have several births and then uterine prolapse, or like you didn't have this, but I'm like weak pelvic muscles or distension of the stomach.
You're talking about this?
Yeah, I'm not going to go very deep into it, but I will give you resources of, if you suffer with that, here's exercises and a protocol to be able to help it. So
in your research, did you find excuse us, I need a moment with my doc. In your research, did you find anything that shows how long it takes a woman's body to bounce back after pregnancy or nursing?
When you think about,
because I think I'm finally just bounced back.
If you're nursing and or even nurturing, and it comes several years after, you're getting hormone letdowns, prolactin specifically. It's meant to produce milk, but it also is meant to, like, soften the body. Like, that's
literally what nurturing as a mother affects.
You're going to impact that. And then the stress is going to be real high. Men, if your women are stressed, good luck. Like, no, I'm saying, like, if your goal is that thing, Barry, right? This is just doctor talk.
If we're stressed, there's just...
And if you're with sorry, I didn't make that clear. From a libido standpoint, it's very challenging. Now, women, also I'm going to challenge you not to use that only as the excuse, because I will show you that sex and intimacy increases the deficiency that you have. Research on that. So then Barry's like, yeah, see, we want to fix your hormones. So we gotta, come on. But if there is a lot of cortisol and there's a lot of stress, and so motherhood comes with so much of that stress, and then you're getting these hormones that are actually meant to keep the child alive by feeding them, let alone nurturing them, that works against that body quite a bit, because the body's not worried about, your body is not worried about attracting a partner at that point. It's worried about bringing a new human into the world. And so it's a whole different set of hormones that happen. So you want me to continue on now?
Well, I have deeper questions, but I think I'll tune in and see. I'll be on the Q&A for more.
I think your hormones are great.
I know. I'm just saying, it's one of the number one questions I get personally is my age women. They're reaching out to me often behind the scenes, asking me
like how long is
personal
so many
questions, whether it's baby or relational or whatever. And there is a legitimate, like, hormones are so powerful that I do know that my body is still dealing with them after being pregnant for 9 months, having a newborn baby, nursing them for over a year. Like, your hormones are...
For 6 years straight.
For 6 years straight, yeah.
It's a real thing.
Yeah, it is.
It's just,
but it's cool to know, like, if you don't do anything about it, of course your hormones can only get worse. Typically in today's world, it doesn't help.
Yep.
So it's cool to know, like,
so we want to
tell us what to do, Doc.
We want to reduce the strain on it, right? Men just the same. Like, you just every day cortisol, grinding your body down, and then putting in the wrong foods, and then you're not working out enough. Like, it's no different. Like, just the process a woman has to go through, or does go through, a process a man goes through, like, it wears down on the body. Here's one of why I like the age diet. Working against this clock, this biological clock, these hormones, and what age does over time, the way you can minimize it through your diet is through the age approach. And this is the consumption of advanced glycation end products. And the main thing of this is we overcook and overheat our foods. And the more that you do that, you're basically aging your food faster, if we play off this. And then when you eat that increase causes insulin resistance, causes a ton of problems with androgens in the body. And this is one of the main driving forces of PCOS related symptoms and all that comes with that.
Are we talking like literal food, or are we talking like even the processing of our packaged foods nowadays?
Well, we're processing a lot of things, but even so in the household recently, we'll have eggs regularly. I'm like, dial it down even more. Like low heat, no burning, slower cooking, very careful of the oils that go in there. A lot of times now, even we're using just like a ghee or even a butter, because when you're at that really low heat, you're not messing even with any nut or seed oils. Not that some of them are bad. Avoiding the rancid oils that's a real high AGE process, advanced glycolation end product, margarine, mayonnaise, even a lot of when you're processing nuts and nut oils, that starts to create a problem, or charring your food. And this is something we focused on over the last, we did some sensitivity testing, and overcooking food, big problem. When you char it on the grill, I remember Grandpa Hogan, he's just like, burn it. You know, my mom's like, make sure it's mooing. You know, like we all like steak differently, but it's, you know, he was like, he wouldn't eat it if it wasn't burnt. Like, man, that is so much AGE going in the system. It ages your body, and it really has a big impact on the hormones. And this is not an overly complicated way of eating. We're going to combat the insulin dominance. We're going to lower the sugars in the body, and we're going to focus on what and how we're cooking. That is the AGE diet approach, and it could fit any type of eating. And so that's why I'm like, it's a big component of it. So I want to add one more wrinkle in to Dr. Livingood's standards of my 5 guidelines for food, is to make sure, and I talk about it with oils, don't make a good oil bad by smoking it, but it's all foods, that if we can not overheat them or cook them just a little bit slower and make sure those burnt edges are on there, or maybe you're a burnt bacon lover, or maybe you're a burnt burger lover or something like that, it's just not a good idea. Or burnt toast, like that is aging your system, and especially if you're dealing with like a PCOS related thing. So just a touch on that. I'm gonna give you the research for that, the research study on it. In a 4-week period of time, by implementing an AGE diet approach, significantly impacted insulin in overweight women that are suffering with PCOS. It's huge.